There's a place on Earth where the sun has never shone. A world in eternal night, buried beneath mountains of water, hidden from human eyes for almost all of history. It is not another planet. It is here, on Earth. Beneath the calm blue surface of the Pacific Ocean lies a realm so extreme, so hostile, that it feels more alien than the surface of Mars. A place where the temperature is near freezing, where no light can survive, where the pressure is so powerful it could crush a human body instantly. This is the Mariana Trench, the deepest point in all of Earth's oceans. If you could stand at the bottom, nearly 11 kilometers below the surface, you would be under more pressure than anywhere else on the planet. The weight of water above you would feel like 50 jumbo jets pressing down on a single square meter. Steel would bend. Bones would collapse. Submarines would implode. And yet, something lives there. There's a place on Earth where the sun has never shone. A world in eternal night, buried beneath mountains of water, hidden from human eyes for almost all of history. It is not another planet. It is here, on Earth. Beneath the calm blue surface of the Pacific Ocean lies a realm so extreme, so hostile, that it feels more alien than the surface of Mars. A place where the temperature is near freezing, where no light can survive, where the pressure is so powerful it could crush a human body instantly. This is the Mariana Trench, the deepest point in all of Earth's oceans. If you could stand at the bottom, nearly 11 kilometers below the surface, you would be under more pressure than anywhere else on the planet. The weight of water above you would feel like 50 jumbo jets pressing down on a single square meter. Steel would bend. Bones would collapse. Submarines would implode. And yet, something lives there. And in that darkness, evolution took a different path. Creatures here do not rely on sunlight. They do not follow the rules of surface life. They feed on what drifts down from above or on chemicals from the Earth itself. The Mariana Trench forces us to ask a powerful question. If life can survive there, where else in the universe might it exist? Before we traveled to space, before we searched other planets, one of the greatest mysteries was waiting right here beneath our oceans. Hidden, silent, unseen. The story of the Mariana Trench is not just about depth. It is about the limits of life, the limits of exploration, and the courage to descend into the unknown. Because sometimes the greatest discoveries are not above us in the stars, but below us in the dark. For most of human history, the deep ocean was a mystery without shape. Sailors crossed vast seas. Navigators charted coastlines, and empires rose and fell along the shores of continents. But what lay beneath the waves was unknown, a dark, silent void that people feared more than they understood. In ancient times, many believed the ocean floor was shallow. Some imagined it sloped gently down and then stopped. Others thought sea monsters guarded the depths. No one imagined trenches deeper than the highest mountains on land. It wasn't until the 19th century that science began to challenge those myths. In 1872, a British ship named HMS Challenger set sail on one of the most important scientific voyages in history. Its mission was simple, yet revolutionary, to study the world's oceans. For nearly 4 years, the ship traveled across the globe, stopping to measure temperatures, collect samples, and, most importantly, measure depth. But measuring the depth of the ocean in the 1800s was no easy task. There were no sonar systems, no satellites, no computers. Scientists relied on weighted ropes lowered into the sea, sometimes taking hours just to reach the bottom. Imagine standing on the deck of a wooden ship, lowering a line into the dark water, waiting and waiting as more rope disappears into the sea. And still it doesn't reach the bottom. When the Challenger expedition took measurements in the Western Pacific Ocean, something astonishing happened. The line kept going down, far deeper than anyone expected, deeper than any ocean measurement before it. The numbers shocked the world. They had discovered a place deeper than Mount Everest is tall. This was the first sign of what would later be called the Mariana Trench. At the time, scientists struggled to believe it. Could the ocean really be that deep, or had they made a mistake? But as more measurements followed, the truth became undeniable. The ocean floor was not smooth or shallow. It was dramatic, extreme, and full of giant underwater valleys. The idea of the deep sea changed forever. Still, measuring depth was one thing. Seeing the bottom was another. No human had ever gone that deep. No machine had ever survived such pressure. For decades, the trench remained a number on a map, a place of data, not experience. And many scientists believed life could not exist there. The pressure was too great, the darkness too complete, the cold too severe. It seemed like the ultimate boundary on Earth. But the more we learn about nature, the more we realize it rarely follows our expectations. The discovery of the trench raised a new question that would drive explorers for generations. If we know how deep it is, could we ever go there? That question would lead to one of the most daring missions in human exploration history, a journey into a world no one had ever seen. But before that moment came, the Mariana Trench remained a symbol of the unknown, a black hole in the map of our planet. A reminder that even on Earth, there are frontiers as mysterious as space. By the middle of the 20th century, humanity had conquered the skies, split the atom, and was preparing to travel into space. Yet one frontier on Earth remained untouched, the deepest ocean. The Mariana Trench was still only numbers on paper, a depth almost impossible to imagine, a place where pressure could crush submarines like soda cans. But in 1960, two men decided to try. Jacques Picard, a Swiss oceanographer, and Don Walsh, a U.S. Navy officer, climbed into a vessel unlike anything built before, a deep-diving submersible called Trieste. Trieste was not sleek like modern submarines. It looked like a floating tank with a small metal sphere attached beneath it. That sphere, barely large enough for two people, was their only protection against pressures more than 1,000 times stronger than at the surface. Inside, there was barely room to move. Wires, gauges, and controls surrounded them. No windows, only small viewports made from thick plexiglass. The descent began slowly. At first, sunlight streamed through the water. Fish swam by. The ocean looked calm. But as they sank deeper, the blue faded to gray, then to black. At 1,000 meters, it was night. At 5,000 meters, the pressure outside was already beyond anything humans had ever experienced. The hull began to creak. Every sound inside the vessel was magnified. Metal under stress. The ocean pressing inward with unstoppable force. Then it happened. A loud crack echoed through the cabin. One of the outer windows had fractured. In that moment, both men knew the danger. If the sphere failed, they would be crushed instantly. No time to react, no chance to escape. But Trieste held. They continued downward. For hours, then 5. Finally, the descent stopped. They had reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench, nearly 11 kilometers beneath the surface. For the first time in Earth's history, human eyes looked upon the deepest place on the planet. What they saw was not a dramatic canyon or towering cliffs. It was a flat, dusty plain of fine sediment, like snow resting on a silent world. Then something moved. Through the murky water, they saw small creatures on the seafloor. Shrimp-like animals, possibly even a flatfish. Life, in a place many believed could not support it. The two men stayed only about 20 minutes. They had limited power, limited oxygen, and enormous risk. But those minutes changed science forever. They proved that the deepest part of the ocean was not lifeless. It was alive. After their return to the surface, the world celebrated. But strangely, no one returned for decades. The technology was too complex, the risks too high, and attention shifted to space exploration. The moon became humanity's next frontier. The deepest ocean returned to silence. But Picard and Walsh had opened a door. They had shown that even in the most extreme environment on Earth, life exists and humans can reach it. Far below the reach of sunlight, beneath mountains of water and unimaginable pressure, the Mariana Trench remains one of the last true frontiers on Earth. It is a world without sky, without day or night, where time seems to stand still. And yet, life exists there, fragile, strange, and resilient. The deepest place on our planet is not empty. It is alive. It reminds us that Earth is still full of mysteries. That even now, in an age of satellites and space travel, we have explored only a small fraction of our own oceans. Down there, evolution followed a different path. Creatures glow in the dark. Bodies bend without breaking. Life survives where we once thought survival was impossible. And maybe that is the greatest lesson of the Mariana Trench. Life does not simply exist in comfortable places. It endures in the extreme. It adapts. It persists. So when we ask whether life can survive at 11 kilometers below the surface, the answer is not just scientific. It is a reminder of how powerful, how determined, and how mysterious life truly is. Because the ocean's deepest point is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning of what we have yet to discover.